All right, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So in this video, it's actually going to be pretty exciting for me, especially just because we're actually going to go E85 on the Z. So this has been a long time coming. Honestly, when I first got the supercharger kit like 4 months ago, I always said like, oh, 500 horsepower will be enough. But like always, you always end up wanting more power. So, here we are 4 months later, and I'm going to go do the switch to E85. But basically, I wanted to kind of come in and show the parts that I have at this point, and I'm going to try to be as detailed as I can with the installation of all these parts because I'm actually installing everything myself. And I've kind of been searching on YouTube and, on forums and stuff, and there isn't like a lot of like step-by-step installation instructions for like any of this stuff. And more than just like the forums, it's just like videos. There is no video where like somebody like clearly explains like, oh, this is how you wire the hardwire kit, or this is how you wire the fuel pump, stuff like that. And I understand a lot of that stuff is easy, but I know there's people out there like me that have never done this before, and it's confusing. So I'm going to try my best to show every step and, make sure to give you guys like tips and stuff if you're going to do this yourself. But yeah, we're going to start off with just unboxing the stuff that I actually have right now. So I have the DW Hardwire Kit, and this is just literally, it's some thicker gauge wire with a relay in it, and it pretty much ensures that if you're going to run like a Walbro 485 or a 525 like I am, there's a risk that this fuel pump comes with like really thick gauge and it just uses more power, it could actually burn through your stock electrical wires. So you have to use that to make sure that doesn't happen. But that I have that, so that's one part of the puzzle. Then I have the CJM fuel return kit. This is the S1.E kit. So it's actually made to work with just the stock fuel rails. I didn't get like the S1.SE kit, I think, that has like aftermarket fuel rails and stuff. But yeah, pretty much here is just the CJM fuel return. Super good quality on this stuff, honestly. Big shout out to CJM. This is like the kit that you need to get if you plan to do fuel return. But comes with all the like fittings for all that stuff. Comes with all the line down there. And it's pretty much just ready to go. So that's that. And then obviously I have the Walbro. Take this out of here. So I have the Walbro 525. And this is, I think, another name for this. It's like the Hellcat pump or whatever. But yeah, I got this. So this is going to be replacing my current setup, which is I have a Aeromotive 340 pump. So we actually need to have a way bigger fuel pump in order to support the extra, the E85 and stuff that we're going to do. And then this is something that is actually not required for you to buy if you're trying to do this. But I actually found a pretty good deal on somebody that was selling a fuel basket that already has a Walbro 485 in it. So this fuel basket has actually already been cut up to fit like the bigger pumps. So at this point, literally all I'm going to have to do is take out the 485, which is down there, and wire up this 525 that I have right here. And I'll make sure to show the wiring just because, again, this is something that I haven't seen anyone actually show. And I'll show you kind of what you need to do if you're going to convert your OEM fuel basket to be able to support like a fuel return kit like the CJM, right? So that's pretty much all the parts I have, guys. I actually need one more part, which is the SpecialtyZ Flex Fuel Kit. And that is coming in today. So as soon as I get that, I'll show you guys that. And like I said, I'm going to try to show everything I can. But yeah, super pumped to start installing all this stuff. And yeah, we'll jump back into the video whenever I start putting this stuff on the car. So I'm at the step now where I'm pretty much ready to put the regulator delete fitting inside the this portion right here. So I'm going to show how that is done. But basically, like in the CJ kit, you're going to have this, and it's going to have this bracket like bolted onto here with these hex bolts right here. So what you have to do is you actually have to lubricate these O-rings right here with some like assembly lube. And once you lubricate them, they're pretty much ready to drop to put this piece, it's going to sit like pretty much like that in here. And there's actually a correct way to put this bracket that holds the regulator delete. So I'll make sure to show how that is done, because there's actually a wrong way, and at first I was going to do it the wrong way. Okay, so I got the piece on, and you got it on, it's going to look exactly like this. So like I said earlier, this bracket on the bottom, you can actually accidentally put it on the wrong way. And basically you need to make sure that on one side of this bracket there, you can see there's like a curve to the left side of it. And if I show the other side, it's just kind of ends. So when you're doing this, you know that you did it right if this is on the left side. When I was first doing this, that part was actually on the right side, and both of these prongs here that hold the bolt in was actually facing down, and that's the incorrect way. So you want to make sure that it looks like this. And when it's installed there, you can just like kind of hand tight those two bolts. And now we're just going to put this line, it's going to go right here, and then the top of it will connect to the stock feed line right here. So one thing that I wanted to mention real quick, I know I'm kind of showing every single step of this, but like I said, I want to make it as detailed as possible for anybody that hasn't done this before like me. But once you have the regulator delete on there, you're going to have to put, like I said, the hose. And basically what you need to do is you need to heat up the end of the hose, so you'll have like an end like this. So heat it up with a heat gun for I heated it up for about 15 seconds where it's kind of hot to the touch, and then you kind of just want to push down and slide it into this fitting. And make sure to not heat it too much, because if you heat it too much, you'll actually tear this plastic, and at that point you'll need a new hose. So when it's done, you just slide it out, make sure it goes all the way to the bottom like that, and then you just put the clamp over it, tighten it, and you're good to go. So that's that part done. Alrighty guys, so I pretty much wrapped up putting everything inside the fuel basket. Right now in this fuel basket is the Walbro 525. I wired that to the power and the ground on the fuel basket. And then I also installed, there's like the CJM regulator delete right under there. And there's also the main feed line that comes directly off the Walbro. I also, obviously, you can't see it, but under here I have the sock filter on the 525. And one thing that you need to make sure is that when you're sticking this portion down in here, make sure that the sock filter, I can't really get in there, but make sure that the sock filter isn't covering the area around here where the venturi tube is. Because if you accidentally cover that, you're going to have fuel pressure issues, and you might run too lean or things like that. So keep an eye out for that. But this is pretty much it. I mean, this is how it's going to look when it's assembled. So you have your connector piece that is your power and your ground for your fuel pump. And that just hooks up. So red will hook up to this blue wire right here, and black will hook up to this black wire. So once you do that, I also have like the fitting on the top here that will connect as the output, I believe. And that just, you had to drill use a 9/16 drill bit and drill a hole there, and just put that nut, and that should be it. So this is what it should look like when it's assembled. So I'll kind of move it around in case anybody wants to double check what they did. I still have to put the fuel level like circuit, and then the sensor on the here, and then I have to hook up these the temperature sensor wires. Since I bought this basket like used from someone, they actually like remove that stuff. So when I take out my current one from the car, I'll just swap that stuff in. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, doing this is kind of a pain. I just have never done it before, and I ran into a lot of issues, but it's on there now and everything seems to be good. So yeah, from this point, I'm just gonna go to the car, start taking off my old basket, and start installing the fuel return and all that. So I'll pick up the video when we start doing that. So I'm just going to show how it's going to look when you've actually inserted your fuel basket back into your gas tank. and I wanted to show how these fittings on the top are going to look. So really, if you're doing the S1.E CJM fuel return like I am, and you're not using like an aftermarket top hat or anything, you're going to obviously have your return fitting at the very center right here. And this line is the one that's going to cause you the most problems trying to get it up here. And honestly, if I could give you guys advice on how to get this line up here, is have someone, so you're going to need, I think, 2 people for this for sure. Have someone in the car, like in this area, and then basically what you're going to do is grab some like thick gauge wire, or maybe like a, even like a metal hanger. And basically you see how the line kind of goes down and then actually goes straight and then down. See if I get a better angle of that. But basically what you need to do is from the bottom of the car, you're going to have someone in the bottom, and they're going to catch the wire or the line that someone from up top feeds from here. So you're going to stick that wire all the way through in here, get it to go down the car, and eventually the person that's at the bottom of the car will see that wire or that line. And all you have to do at that point is tie this end of the fitting to the wire and pretty much slowly pull it up. And the person that's underneath the car is going to apply pressure to the other side of the line just to help this pretty much come up. And that's the easiest way that I found to get this line up here, because I know a lot of people struggle with that and no one really like tells you exactly how to do it. So I thought I'd show that. Okay, so I barely have any room down here, but I wanted to make sure to show you guys where I'm routing that line through. So if I can see here, this black line right here, that's the fuel line. That's the line that goes up to the tank where I showed you guys in the last clip. And these hard lines that you see right here are your factory fuel lines that come from the same area where the tank is, right? So literally you have to stick the line through here. So I use these lines as reference, and I just stuck it to the right of that. And you're pretty much just gonna have to feed it up. And once you get it to get there, you're gonna just loop it and follow like the factory curve like that. So I just wanted to show that real quick so you guys can see that. But yeah, excuse all the rust on my car. I basically bought this car from somewhere where it used to snow all the time, and yeah, that's why the bottom looks like that. So now I moved on to installing the SpecialtyZ flex fuel kit, and right now I'm actually installing the wiring that pretty much controls the entire thing. So when you get this kit, there's really only 3 wires that you pay attention to. You have your red wire, which is obviously your power. You have this white wire, which is going to be hooked up to your a pin on your ECM. And then you have your black wire right here, which is your ground, right? So SpecialtyZ actually provides these instructions, paper instructions, to basically tell you how to do everything. And it's honestly very simple, but I'm going to show it just to, because again, this is something that I didn't really see anyone talk about on YouTube or anything. So this red wire, SpecialtyZ actually tells you, but it's pretty much going to be hooked up to power off that connector right there. I soldered it on there, but it's that yellow connector right there. So you unplug the connector from up top, push it out, and then you pretty much splice into this yellow wire. And once you splice into that, that's 12 volt power for the flex fuel kit, which is this red wire again. And then after that, you have your ground, right? Your black one. And then if you follow the SpecialtyZ instructions, all you have to do is pull back your carpet a bit, pull it back, and you guys see that all the way down there, right here where the wire is, that's the ground. So I wanted to come in here and basically correct a mistake that I made. I recorded a clip previously that was basically showing how to wire your flex fuel kit, and with the SpecialtyZ flex fuel kit, you actually have to tap into this harness, which is your harness to the ECM, and there is a gray wire that you need to tap into, which corresponds to pin 102. I, like an idiot, I just saw the first gray wire and kind of tried to match a little bit and assumed, oh, well, this is the one, right? So right now, if you see, I have a crimp connection on a gray wire. I mean, they look white on screen, but basically those 2 wires that look white are actually gray. And on the one that I have a crimp connection currently, that's the one that I initially had tapped into thinking that was pin 102, but it was not. So when I went to go turn on my car, I was getting like transmission codes, and I was also not, like, the car wasn't letting me go into the synchro mode. So, and I was getting like a bunch of check engine lights, and I even was getting like the TCM light wouldn't go off. So to make sure that nobody else makes the mistake that I made, do not actually, make sure that when you're doing this, you tap into the correct wire. So this one right here that you see that has a crimp connection on it, that is not pin 102. This other gray wire that I'm dangling here, that's pin 102. So if you kind of look down in there, that first gray wire, that gray wire that you're seeing right here, this one where my nail is, that's pin 102. This right here is not pin 102. So if I can kind of look in there, I accidentally tapped into this one, and the one that you need to tap into is this one over here. That's pin 102. So if you want to like reference your wires, that's how it's supposed to look in there. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tap into this one, and the whole thing should be working now. Time to do the DW Hardwire Kit. So it's a very tight space back here, so I'm sorry if I'm like moving everywhere, but I'm pretty much going to show you guys how to do the Hardwire Kit, because again, there's no, honestly, this is simple, I know, and probably anyone that's like good with electrical stuff is laughing at me right now, but pretty much I haven't seen any videos of anyone doing it on the 370Z, so I'm just going to show it for people that don't know. But obviously you have your harness that connects to the actual top of your fuel pump, right? This is the harness that plugs into your fuel basket. So you're going to have these different wires. You're going to have the yellow, the red, the thick black, and then the white, and then this pink one. So I already snipped the pink one, but the pink one is actually the power to your fuel pump. So this is what you're going to tap in your Hardwire Kit to. And if we look at the instructions that they provide with the Hardwire Kit, basically black and red, those are self-explanatory. Those are just red. Red is positive, black is ground. And then the yellow one, when it says power to pump side positive lead, what that means is that you're going to connect that to the pump side of the power that supply, like the cable that supplies power to the fuel pump. And in this case, the cable that supplies power to the fuel pump is this pink cable on the harness. So the yellow wire is going to go right here, because this is the side of the wire that goes into the plug. And then you're going to have the other wire go on the other side. That's going to be the blue wire, because the blue wire is the harness side. So this, what it means by harness side is that this wire is going to the rest of the harness. This wire is power to pump because it's going to the connector. So yellow wire of the, when I say yellow wire, that's going to go there. And then the blue wire is going to go here. So I'm going to wire these things up, and then I'll show you guys how that came out. This is how you wire the actual Hardwire Kit. So as I showed you guys in the previous clip, I showed you pretty much where each wire is going to go to. And now I actually got it done, so I have to come under here. But as you can see, I have those two connections right there. So the end of the pink wire that comes off the harness, the plug itself, is to the yellow wire. And then the other end goes to the blue wire. So that's all said and done. And then I also made sure to pass those wires through this grommet right here. I cut a hole just because obviously those wires are going to sit inside right there where the fuel basket is. But yeah, at this point I need to find a mounting location for that relay kit, and then I need to hook up the ground as well as the positive 12 volts. So this one's going to go all the way to the front in the battery, and this ground, I think I'm going to try to find a location somewhere like back here. What is up, guys? So I was actually going to end the video in the last few clips that you guys have seen, but I actually decided to pick up one more set of parts for the Z to pretty much just make sure that now that I'm on E85, I can monitor my fuel pressure. And Adam Tuning, my tuner, actually sells this kit. It's made by, I believe, this company called Total Racing Products, but Adam is a vendor for them. So basically what this kit is it has a fuel pressure sensor right here, and then it has the harnesses that obviously power this. And I believe you're supposed to tap into your MAF sensor bank 2 for power or something like that. It's supposed to be a plug-and-play kit, so I'm not exactly sure how it's installed, but I'm going to install it and I'll make sure to show you guys. But The reason I picked that up was because at the moment, the only way that I can actually see the fuel pressure in my car is by looking at the CJ gauge that attaches to the fuel return. But obviously when you're driving the car, you can't like look at that while you're driving. So with this, I will now be able to look at my fuel pressure with the EcuTech app. And that's something that I definitely want to look at when I'm doing pulls and stuff like that, to make sure that if I'm running too lean or too rich, that I can like instantly see that and, you know, turn off the car or do what I have to do. But yeah, I'm gonna get this installed, and I'll make sure to show you guys when it's all installed and ready to go. All right guys, so installation is all done. Honestly, it's a very simple installation. It doesn't come with any instructions, but honestly, they make it so simple that you don't even need instructions. But basically, like if you buy this kit on the Admin Tuning website, it tells you like the basics of how it's installed. So how it works is that you're gonna plug in a connector, your MAF sensor bank 2. So you're gonna remove this connector right here, and you're gonna plug it in. There's a plug on the actual harness that comes with the kit, and you just plug it in here. So you're actually no longer gonna be running a MAF to this bank 2. And I haven't done enough research on that, but from what I've heard and kind of what I've talked with my tuner, basically because that fuel pressure sensor is going to be configured to work in EcuTech, the car can still run okay without that MAF 2 sensor. And then at the end of the day, you know, when you're boosted, you have a Omni bar map sensor on the back of the manifold. So at the end of the day, that sensor itself will read intake, like air coming in through the intake. But yeah, I got it installed, and right now I don't actually have my MAF unplugged. I'm waiting for a tune day to do that, because obviously if I were to unplug my MAF right now, the car wouldn't really know what to do. So I left that plugged in for now. But basically I'm going to show you guys here where this I ended up putting this stuff. So that right there, if you guys can get a good view there, that is my fuel pressure regulator. And if you can see right off the front of it is the sensor. But one thing that I do want to mention here is if you're buying this specific fuel pressure kit, what you need to make sure you get is a 90-degree NPT fitting. So the threads on this is a 1/8 inch, I believe. So you're going to need a 90-degree NPT, 90-degree angle fitting. And the reason for that is because if you try to thread in that sensor, this sensor right here, directly into the port, that port right there, you're not going to have enough clearance. I mean, it's going to hit like all these wires back here, and you're not going to have no room to actually put the connector in. So I just got a 90-degree fitting like that, put it off to the side, and we're golden. So the sensor's sitting nicely there. Everything's nice and tight. There is no leaks or anything like that. I already tested all that, and I basically just ran the wires through the back. Right now, they're actually loose just because I'm not even going to drive the car until it's ready for a tune. But yeah, I have the wires kind of set aside right here. So the part that actually plugs into the MAF is going to be this part right here, this plug. So that's going to plug into the MAF, and that's pretty much how the sensor gets like the power and everything else that it needs. But yeah, again, huge shout out to Monsef over at Admin Tuning for recommending me this kit, and honestly for the super fast shipping too. I placed my order, and pretty much by the next morning I had a tracking number. So huge shout out to him. And yeah, I'm super excited to get this car tuned on E. At this point, it's pretty much ready to go. And yeah, I think I'm actually going to do the whole like E process, like switching to E and all that in another video, just because I've already had a lot of clips in this one. So if you guys are excited to see the Nismo switch over to E85, make sure to subscribe and keep along with all the videos. But anyways, I appreciate you guys tuning into this video. If you guys have any questions or concerns about anything that I showed, feel free to drop a comment. And like always, thank you guys for watching.